Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I haven't been able to ride this week, so it's not a riding video, but I put a story up on my Instagram and a community post on my YouTube as well to see if people would be interested in a video where I sort of go through my edit and just explain the clips, what went through my mind whilst doing them, why I wanted them in the edit, that kind of thing. Give a little bit of like behind the scenes, I guess you could call it that, of the edit. So I thought that's the video I've filmed today since I haven't been able to ride. So I'm going to open up the edit on my laptop. I'm going to put you guys in one of the corners and we'll get straight into it. Okay, so these first two opening clips, what really went through my head was I wanted something that wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. I didn't want bangers as soon as you get into the edit. I wanted something chill, but I also wanted something that was going to look nice. So I went with like a little coping combination. I was actually going to do, where I went in from 50, I was actually going to do a trick in, but then I wasn't sure from that if I'd be able to get enough speed to stick the feebles to be able to come right back around and do the 3 bar. Now the 3 bar was kind of one of a couple of options I had. I wanted something that was going to look nice, and as people probably know, I'm not the most stylish rider. So 3 bars is something I've been getting a little bit better at, but also a little bit hit and miss. So I gave it a few goes and actually kind of got close, but sort of a few attempts in, I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get the 3 bar. I thought I'd have to change the trick, but luckily I did manage to stick it in the end. I've always loved like intro of an edit being kind of like a coping, slidey, grindy kind of idea. So that was kind of the idea behind the opening clip. And then obviously with the 3 bar, it's just a nice looking clip for the start. And then the next clip coming in was the bar double whip to buttercup. Now these two were kind of like in between tricks for me, especially the bar double. So it's a trick I'm not usually very good at, but this day I actually did it for a YouTube video. And I just thought, you know what, why don't I put it in my edit? Bar tricks aren't something I'm good at. I don't have a lot of bar combos. So I was like, well, I kind of wanted something like that in the edit, but obviously from my point of view, bar double isn't like a banger trick. It's not one of my best tricks for the edit. So that's kind of a way I thought I could incorporate it. The same with the butter, although they're like a really chill trick for me, putting them in the edit in a line meant I could have an overhead trick in there without it being a main part of the edit, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next couple of clips we've got is a bar finger. So a little background story behind this. I arrived at the skate park and I'd asked my mum to come and film me, just try and get the clips. People are in school. I tend to go in the morning while it's quiet because I can film, I can do whatever I want without people being in the way or people talking over. So we were there in the morning. We actually got to the skate park a little bit later than I wanted. And by the time we got there, my mum literally had like 10 to 20 minutes before she had to leave because she was going out. The original clip, what I was going to do, you'll actually see later in the edit, which was the double heel rewind air. And mum was filming me and I stacked it, which also was in the edit. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to get this in like the 5 minutes I had left. I'd warmed up and I started trying it and I was like, I'm not going to get this in the 5 minutes. So I decided to change tricks. Bear in mind, the last time I did a bar finger was last February, so over a year ago. And I just thought, you know what, I'll chuck it. Never done it into the bank before, but literally have 5 minutes till mum had to go. So I chucked it, got close. I think I'd asked her to film 1 or 2 more because I really thought I was going to get it. And out the blue, I just banged it. I'd never done it into that bank before. Like I said, hadn't done it in over a year. To be honest, I don't know how I did it, but I just pulled it around. It was actually really clean, and to be honest, it's quite a nice trick. So yeah, I don't have a clue how I did it, but we did it. I was actually quite surprised that I managed to get it so quickly. The Kiki double was part of a filming morning I had with my friend Shannon, who's been helping me film a couple videos. She's been coming on a morning and literally just filming everything I do. So on this session was a day I was actually getting like, I think I managed to film 4 of the clips that day. So it was a rewind triple, double heel kiki whip, and kiki double. And I wanted all of those in there because they're all kind of best tricks, but also kind of in between. Like, I don't find them really difficult, but in terms of like my best, I can't add anything to them to make them better. So they are like my best tricks. So that morning I managed to get all of those 4. I was actually getting a lot more confident with them as well. Like, they've not always been my favourite tricks, but the past few weeks before filming, I was getting them really nice, and I just think it helps fill the edit out a little bit as well. Okay, so we've got the triple finger as well, which was part of another filming morning I did with Shannon, where I managed to get the triple finger, the heel finger rewind, and I believe the unders finger as well. There was 3 clips that day. So I wasn't sure whether I was actually going to put those ones in the edit, because they are quite chill tricks for me now. Also, like I said with the kickless tricks, I can't actually add anything to them to make them better. So I can't do a quad finger, I can't do a whip triple finger, I can't do a heel finger rewind double. I can't add anything to them to make them better. And again, they're tricks that look nice, I'm good at them, and to fill the edit out and just give it a little bit more of a range of tricks, I thought we'll put them in the edit. The next trick you can see is the stack from the double heel rewind air. So this is what I explained earlier. Mum didn't have very long. I died and then I didn't feel confident enough to do it. But then luckily what I did later in the session was put my camera up on the tripod. I didn't want a lot of the clips to be self-filmed, just purely because it doesn't always look the best. A lot of my Insta clips are self-filmed at the moment because I tend to go while people aren't at the skate park. It doesn't always look the best, so I didn't really want self-filmed clips in there, but with a couple of the tricks, I didn't really have an option, and I figured it'd be better to have a couple of them self-filmed than not have the tricks in at all. That is definitely a scary trick though. I recommend doing it, like, by all means do it, but it is just scary, and it took me a long time, especially after falling, to like pick myself back up and just go and be like, no, I am gonna land it. Okay, so the unders kicky air. The drop, the first drop in the song, I wanted to be a sick trick. So this was, I actually left this really late. It was a trick, I had a few tricks on the list that I was seriously like doubting whether I'd be able to get them. I last did unders kicky air the end of February last year, so over a year ago. I've only ever done it the one time I landed it. I haven't done it since, and I was like, I really want it in the edit, but I was highly doubting whether I was actually going to be able to get it. I just, you know when you're just not feeling a trick, and I'm not the best at air anyway, and it came to doing it, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Now, the Saturday before, I actually went and got kind of close to it, and I asked my mum to come and film me, but by the time she got there, it actually started raining, the whole skate park was soaked and I couldn't do it, and I really thought that was like my opportunity to do it, and I thought I'm not going to be able to do it now. But luckily for me, the weather brightened up, and on the Monday, I went straight away. I was with Aaron, and I was just like, yo, I'm going to do this in a minute, can you film me? And he was calm with it, so thank you for Aaron for filming. And yeah, after a few attempts, it was quite clear I was close, but I still kind of had that doubt that I wasn't going to land it. And then literally he wanted to ride, and he said to me, look, is it alright if I ride in a minute? I said, yeah, I'll do. It was either 5 or 3 more, I can't remember. But literally the last attempt I had, I really thought I wasn't going to get it. I put my edit song on and dropped in, lined it up for the drop, and just managed to, I honestly don't know how, but I just managed to stick it. I was so happy that I managed to get that clip, because I honestly thought I wasn't going to be able to get it. Okay, so the unders finger, like I said, was on a filming morning I had with Shannon. It was another trick I definitely wanted in the edit. It's my first new learner this year, so I definitely wanted it in there, but it's also a very awkward trick. But I managed to land it, and it was so sketchy. And it's kind of a toss-up. I was in that sort of frame of mind where I wanted it cleaner, but also I did land it and I felt bad not taking it when I landed it, so I said to Shannon, do you mind filming a couple more? Luckily, she didn't mind, and yeah, managed to stick it. I can't remember if that was literally the go after, or if I failed a couple times before. I think I might have got it like consecutive turns, but yeah, I was very happy to be able to get that one again. Okay, so the next trick is a finger finger. It's not a clip I do very often, and I just thought it is one of my best tricks. Again, I can't add anything to it, so I definitely wanted it in there. Now, I'd already filmed a load of stuff in the morning with my mum, but again, she had to go out somewhere, so I said leave the camera with me. And someone else I knew was at the skate park that day, and I said to them, are you cool to film me once I've just practiced this a little bit? And I actually got close really quickly, which surprised me, because like I said, it's not a trick that I do a lot, and I hadn't done it in ages. So I dropped in a couple times, did a couple of attempts, and I said to him, oh, I'll try and land it before you film, even though I didn't really expect to. I dropped in that next go and landed it really clean, so I asked him to film and landed it the next go again. So I managed to get 2 in a row, both really clean. So I was actually so happy that I managed to get those like 2 in a row, and it's definitely going to be a clip you're going to be seeing in YouTube videos more, hopefully. Rewind kicky whip. the battle I've had with this trick is mental. It took me so long to land it. Anyone that's local to Churchtown will know how long I was landing it. I was trying to do it into the sketchy other bank on the other side of where I used to ride. Everyone knows the old flyout that I used to ride. I was doing it into that sketchy thing. Again, it was one of my best tricks. I really wanted it in the edit, but I really didn't think I was going to be able to get it out. It took me months to land it in the first place, and the fact it was so sketchy, I just thought, there's no way I'm going to get this. I had to go after school on this session, which isn't ideal, like I said, with other people being there. It's just easier to film when there isn't people there, but I took the opportunity I had. It was a beautiful day. I managed to get closer actually really quickly. I committed to a couple, so I rang my mum and asked her to come film, and then it still took a while. I just kept slipping out. Everyone knows like the battle you have with a trick that you don't particularly like. You keep failing and failing and failing, and you never think you're going to get it. But luckily I did manage to stick it. It was a little bit sketchier than I would have liked, but since it was a trick I didn't really mind, and it doesn't look too bad. It looks alright in the edit. Okay, so I already explained about the whip kicky whip and those kickless combos. So the rewind air was, again, something I wanted in the edit but I hadn't done in ages. A trick that I definitely wanted in the edit, however, it's a trick I'm pretty sure I haven't done in like 3 years, something like that. I did it once. I actually got it quite quickly when I got it, but I never thought of doing it again. And when the edit came up, I decided, again, I'm not very good at air, but it's a trick that I wanted in the edit. So I started working on it, and I actually got it reasonably quickly. It's another one that's a little bit scary to do air. I don't know what it is about doing like heel rewinds air, but I don't know, for me, found it a bit scary, but we managed to stick it and it looked good as well. So this next little sequence, I love so much, honestly. I'd thought about doing something similar to that for ages, and I wanted that kind of, yeah, I wanted some kind of sequence like that in the edit, but I didn't really know what to do. So again, I was filming with my mum. This is the same day I did the finger, and I wanted to do it, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to. So I had a couple run-ups, I looked at it, and I knew I could do it. I just needed to like get in the frame of mind to actually just do it and not worry about it. I actually jumped it before, but I had a fat fairy foot. Me, when I'm jumping like volcanoes or anything, I always take a foot off, just as that like little bit of confidence. If something's going wrong, I can always put my foot down. But obviously for an edit clip, I didn't want that. I wanted it to look nice. So I had to force myself. I was on my scooter, I dropped in, and I'm like, I'm not taking my foot off. I had to force myself not to take my foot off. Luckily I managed to do it, and it looked good, and then it rolled straight into the bar twist, which again, a trick I haven't done in a while. I love bar twists, and yeah, I'd been struggling with this trick actually for a while. I was going to try and get it for some Insta clips earlier in the year, and I literally just couldn't get it for some reason. So I was a little bit in doubt whether I was going to be able to get it for the edit. But out of that flyout, it just seemed to flow, like you can see from the clip. It was just so like flowy, it was so nice. I didn't seem to struggle with it at all. I got it really quickly that day. So I'm happy I managed to get it, because I really didn't think I was going to, because I'd had so much trouble with it earlier in the year. But no, it looked nice, and I'm so happy with how that little sequence turned out, because it was exactly how I wanted it to be. Rewind kicky air again, not a particularly great trick. It's sort of in between. It's not a completely chill trick for me, but it's something I found quite easy. But again, I wanted to kind of run up to the quarter, that kind of sequence. I wanted that in the edit, and the way the clip looks actually looks really nice. It's just the clip for me that I just wanted in the edit. There's no particular reason why. It's still one of my best air tricks, but it's probably one of my better air tricks that's a little bit more easy for me. So the rewind triple again was on that day I was doing all the kicky tricks, and I was actually surprised. I hadn't done this trick since the summer, and I just decided to try it one day and got really close, and then I just wanted it for the edit anyway, but I was actually surprised how quick I got it, and it's definitely going to be a trick you'll see in YouTube videos in the future. And then the double heel rewind double was the day my mum had to go after filming the bar finger, so it was another one I had to self-film. I find it a little bit more difficult, and I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to get it, because I was getting close, and as soon as I put the camera up to film, I could not get close, and I was like just doing kickies or just doing heel whips and not being able to do it. But luckily I managed to stick it. Again, a little bit more sketchier than I would have liked, but it doesn't look too bad in the edit, and it's a nice clip. Finger kicky air, another one I really didn't think I was gonna get. Like I've said, I am not someone that's really good at air, and I haven't done it since I landed it, which I think was like back in May last year. So I was really doubting whether I'd be able to get this for the edit as well. But pulled up to the skate park one day, getting really close. Rang mum, said, I'm really close, can you come film? She came to film me, and I was like, am I going to land it? You know when you're never quite sure if you're going to get it. And then I committed to one and just slipped a foot. And then I landed it the next try, but you seen from the clip, rolled away, but I rolled so sideways and I went across to the pyramid, so it doesn't look good. Said to mum, do you mind filming another one, just see if I can get it a little bit cleaner? And luckily, straight afterwards, managed to get the clip again, landed a little bit more straight, I managed to roll up the bank. So I was really happy I was able to get that, because that is one of my best air tricks. So a new learn in the edit, bar twist double whip. This trick has been a battle for a while. I wanted it for an edit for ages, whether that's Insta or YouTube or whatever, and literally every time I get the camera out to film it, I cannot get close. I've been getting it 1 foot, I've committed, I've punched myself in the face whilst committing, and literally I'd been slipping out forever on this trick. This day I'd actually pretty much landed it before my mum came to film. I was getting it 1 foot, I was landing with so much time, so I rang her up and said, can you come? When she got there, I couldn't even spin the trick. I don't know what was going on, but I went from literally being really close, slipping out, to go from that to not even be able to spin the trick was completely mind-blowing and annoying, and it was just, you know, when a trick just gets you that much. But luckily, I did manage to land it. It was a little bit sketchier than I would have liked, and it was literally the last go before I had to go home, so I couldn't clean it up. But regardless of that, I am happy that I landed it, and yeah, I will be doing it again, don't worry. Oh, finger. This trick, oh my goodness. I've done it twice before. Once was last February, and I landed it into the sketchy bank. It was the sketchiest thing. I didn't even roll away from it. And I didn't really count it as a new learn. The second time I did it to clean up the first one. And I managed to do it out the half pipe. Don't ask me how, because I do not know. And that was last February as well. But yeah, I really didn't think I was going to get it. 2 or 3 weeks I'd been trying the full finger. Into the bank, out of the half pipe, anything, just to try and get it to work. And it just wasn't working. Like, it was coming round, but not coming round enough for me to commit. I got a couple 1 foot, but I wasn't really feeling it, and I really didn't think I'd get it. I was at the skate park one Friday, I believe, and I didn't realise the schools were already out for Easter, and I got to the skate park and I was like, do I stay or do I not? Because I really didn't want to be there when it was busy. In the end, I did decide to stay. I was just like, well, at least if I have an hour, I've rode, I've got out of the house. It was a lovely day again, so I didn't really want to waste it. But I really didn't think I was going to be able to get any clips anyway. And I gave it a couple goes, and I wasn't really feeling it, but they were okay. So I asked Freddie to film, and I just said, could you film me a couple? I just want to see what they're looking like, see if there's anything I'm doing wrong, just try and have a look at the clip and see if I can put my finger on where I'm going wrong. I think after maybe 4 or 5 attempts, I just stuck it out of nowhere. I really didn't think I was going to. I don't know where it came from. Everyone knows I'm not someone that commits very easily to tricks, and I'm not a consistent person, and a lot of the time new learns and relearns will literally take me hours because I just cannot commit to tricks. So to just drop in after like 4 or 5 attempts and just be able to stick it, I was so surprised. Again, you can see that in the edit. I'm screaming because I didn't even realise. I was like, I would never know how I just stuck my feet on that, because I really didn't think I was going to get it. Last trick of the edit, my Kiki. Now, everybody knows me and this trick have not got on. Never have I been able to figure out this trick. I always did the Oppo Kiki too far out and then couldn't get the normal Kiki around. For years, I haven't been able to even figure out how the trick worked. Now, back in, I think it was October, I figured out that I couldn't get the second Kiki around because I wasn't letting the first one come back to like the front or like in front of me. So I figured out I needed to do the Oppo Kiki and then let it come round and go into the normal Kiki rather than trying to do the Oppo Kiki and the normal Kiki out here. So in October, I actually managed to figure out what I was doing wrong, and I managed to sort it out so I could do it right. October, I kept trying this trick and trying this trick and trying this trick, and I just couldn't stick it. I'd been slipping out. I had a whole like 2-hour session, where I had my camera set up and I was just standing it and sliding out and getting it 1 foot and just being like a millimetre short of the deck. I could not stick it. And for months I've been trying and just not being able to do it. And I really thought it was going to be one of them tricks I just wasn't going to do. I'd already been told, Jamie and Lucy had already, I'd asked them about it and they said one day it will just work. And I thought that day was the day I figured out how to do them. But that day happened to be the 13th of March. When I went to the skate park in the morning, I said to myself, I rang Jamie actually, I said I'm going to land it today. I didn't know how, I didn't know how long it was going to take, I didn't know even if I was able to do it. I hadn't tried it since, I think, November. I'd given it a long break because I was really fed up with not landing it. And I rang Jamie and I was just like, it's going to happen today. I warmed up at the skate park, I was literally there, I think, half an hour. I landed 10th try that day, which was literally, I warmed up and went straight into doing them. I think the 2nd or 3rd attempt I committed, got really close, and then it was just a case of getting it round to the right area so I could commit and roll away. I was so surprised. I don't know how I stuck it, but 10th try, I was so surprised. I literally rang Jamie up straight away. I was like, I've done it! And yeah, I was so gassed. And then I actually did manage to do it again because I wanted the same clip for Insta. So I did set up my phone and I did manage to land it again a few tries after. And yeah, so I was so happy to finally be able to stick it. I don't know why it took that long. Some tricks just do. It took forever. But luckily I managed to stick it and we have the clip, and that was the last clip in the edit. I always wanted it to be the last clip in the edit. I didn't want it to be in the middle of the edit because I wanted it to be separate from the edit but also in the edit. So I wanted it to be part of it, but I didn't want it to get lost in the other parts of the edit. I didn't want it to get lost in between the other tricks that maybe didn't take me as long. I wanted it to be like a big staple trick. So I decided I'd fade the music out straight into the attempts and straight into me landing it, and I was so happy. And yeah, I really didn't think I'd get it, but here we are. I did it. So that takes us all the way through the edit. That's a little bit of behind the scenes and little bits about each individual clip. But I hope this video was enjoyable. I know it's not a normal video for me, but I thought it'd be an interesting one to do. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Drop a comment below, let me know what other type of videos you'd like me to do. And like always, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!